Falcons got Kyle Pitts, and Georgia had 9 players selected in the NFL draft. That is amazing. I don't know why all of a sudden thought of that one idiot Florida Gator, Felipe Franks. Did he even get drafted? Like, what team is he on? What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. Now, in this video, we're going to go over a topic that I had already previously talked about in one of my podcast episodes and kind of low-key in a previous episode of Rise Up Rundown, but I was kind of going over, nobody's talking about Julio Jones here in the offseason. Is Julio okay? Are we going to have to worry about his future here in Atlanta? But I never went over trade rumors. In the podcast episode, I went over trade rumors. But we're going to talk about the Julio Jones and his future in Atlanta topic once more, because first off, it's Julio Jones. I'm not just going to not talk about this. And second, there's a lot of things I want to point out about this topic that I did not in the previous podcast episode and the previous Rise Up Rundown video. And these Julio Jones getting traded rumors are getting pretty serious here. I mean, Arthur Smith in an interview, when he was asked if Julio Jones was going to stay on the team, he's like, oh, well, I can't predict if that happens. That's like predicting the weather. We'll just see what happens, something like that. And I'm just like, oh gosh, here we go. I really don't want Julio Jones to get traded. And with all these trade rumors, drafting Kyle Pitts to be Julio Jones' replacement at wide receiver, you know what, man? At this point, it doesn't even look that crazy. But in this video, we're not going to predict if Julio Jones stays on the team or not in the 2021 season, because first off, frankly, I just don't actually know if Julio Jones is going to stay on the team or not. I just don't. I hope he stays on the team, but I can't predict if he will or not. And two, this video is just my thoughts on why I think it would be a huge mistake if the Atlanta Falcons were to trade Julio Jones entering the 2021 season, especially when Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot shouted out to the world that they are not in a rebuild, they are here to win now. And if you want to win now with Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Grady Jarrett, Kyle Pitts, with all these players, why in the world would you trade Julio Jones? First off, it's really just for Julio Jones' sake. Like, why would you want to win a Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, your best Falcons quarterback ever, but not with your best Falcons player ever in Julio Jones? That's just one thing. But anyway, let's get into other things we have to talk about. First off, Julio Jones can still play. Sure, he did not stay healthy on the field that much in 2020, but, I mean, for one thing, there are a lot of NFL stars that will occasionally just have one bad, unhealthy season, and then they might come back healthy the next. I mean, look at all the 49ers players of last year. They had a really good roster, but simply they just couldn't really stay healthy. And I just seriously cannot expect that they seriously just get injured again in 2021. I think they'll all bounce back. And then Aaron Rodgers couldn't really get on the field in 2017 because of that injury, and then he came back in 2018. You get the idea. Like, Julio Jones is not injury prone. I think last year was just one bad, unhealthy season. Sure, occasionally in every season he'll miss like 2 to 3 games, but that is nothing compared to 2020 where he just really could not stay healthy on the field for that much. But for those that say Julio Jones can't play anymore, I really advise that you please go watch his 2020 tape again, because Julio Jones can still play, and he is still one of the better players in the NFL, and in my opinion, I think he is still the number one player the Falcons have on their roster entering the 2021 season. Did you not see how he played last year? He still averaged a lot of yards per game. Did you not see that clutch grab he had against the Saints to put the Falcons in good, game-winning territory, I guess? to possibly win that game. Did you see his performance against the Seahawks in Week 1? Did you see that one nasty touchdown against the Broncos where he had that defender go into the hospital after breaking his ankles? I mean, seriously, like, go watch his tape again. Julio Jones can still play. Don't take it as he's injury prone, he's washed up, he wasn't as entertaining to watch last year. Calvin Ridley took over and Falcons were actually okay in the passing game anyway without him. Well, I'm actually going to lead into why that is not a good excuse to use on why you should trade Julio Jones. Julio Jones is the only clutch player on the Atlanta Falcons. Or at least it kind of feels like it. Now, listen, you know what? It's true. Like, Calvin Ridley is a great wide receiver. He will absolutely torture NFL secondaries and will score a lot of touchdowns. Matt Ryan, yeah, he'll toss up a lot of touchdowns. He'll have a lot of yards per game. Kyle Pitts is probably just as good as advertised. And even Hayden Hurst can do some good things for the Falcons. But when you need that clutch player to win the game, not just, score some points and do some good things during the game. I'm talking about that clutch player to win you the game. I'm taking Julio Jones over any receiver that we have. And I'm not here to disrespect Matt Ryan in this next part because I do think Matt Ryan is a great player. In fact, with Arthur Smith, I think he's going to have one hell of a season in 2021. That will probably even be my next video going over why Matt Ryan will have one heck of a season in 2021. But I'm not going to ignore that Matt Ryan had 0 game-winning drives in 2020. And if I'm not mistaken, Julio Jones was only active in one of those game-winning drives, and that one was versus the Saints. Now, yeah, sure, you'll probably say that we lost the game anyway, but even in that game, I think it was 3rd or 4th down, we needed a big play to get in, game-winning territory. We threw it up to Julio Jones, he had one clutch grab, and we were saved. We had a chance to possibly win that game. So, at least he had that one good moment. But outside of that Saints game, the Bears game, no one was going to be able to help us out there. As long as, when it comes to being clutch, I'm not trusting Calvin Ridley to have this contested jump ball catch in double coverage. No, I'm not trusting Calvin Ridley to do that. I'm not trusting Hayden Hurst at all to do that. I'm not trusting Russell Gage. Kyle Pitts is a rookie. Only Julio Jones, I feel pretty freaking confident, will catch that hard contested jump ball catch. In the Chargers game, just self-explanatory. The Falcons were struggling to get anywhere. And then in the Bucs game, I mean, granted the O-line was pretty terrible in that game-winning drive, but still, nowhere. Like, if you need a clutch player, look at Julio Jones in the recent years. Against the 49ers, Julio Jones won us the game. Against the Eagles, Julio Jones took a screen pass and won us the game. If I'm looking for a clutch player, I'm looking for Julio Jones. He's the only player I feel confident he's probably going to either catch it or he's at least, the best option available for Matt Ryan. Because I'm not trusting Calvin Ridley or Hayden Hurst or Kyle Pitts. I'm just not. Unless they prove me wrong, but Julio Jones is your clutch player if you need him in 2021. And it showed. 0 game-winning drives, only one of them he was in it. You need Julio Jones. And then the third reason why we should not trade Julio Jones is, you know it just as well as I do, Julio Jones is the leader on that team. Whenever he speaks in the locker room, everyone listens. Did you not see the people coming off the sidelines to congratulate Julio Jones on his first touchdown in 2018? And then the Falcons 2019 turnaround happened when Julio Jones spoke to everyone in the locker room saying, we need to be better, this and that. Julio Jones is the leader on the Falcons. If you want to win now with Arthur Smith and Matt Ryan in 2021, you need Julio Jones. I just think it makes absolutely 0 sense to lose him. They're probably going to find some great pass rusher that they could maybe get if they lost Julio Jones, but I don't care. I think you really need Julio Jones. But those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, I will see you guys with a video this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate you all for the support. And as always, rise up.